Again, coming back, cost has never been a factor. We didn't put open source in because it is free. We put it in places where we needed to strategically because it just worked. And that's one big difference. It just worked for us. And we've got proof positive over and over again that this has been the case, at least at Virgin America. It's a snapshot of what we have as an open source at Virgin America. A commercial website. We use memcached, quite nicely, and we're going to be putting up some intense caching services out there soon. We use Pentaho for ETL integration, postfix MTA clusters, wire scanning, spam, anti-spam, OpenVPN, document management. We have knowledge tree. DMS works like a charm. I mean, it's never gone down. It's been up and running for the last 2.5 years, and we've never heard a single complaint. All our flight ops manuals are stored on that system. It's open source. It works. This was the system we put in place to ensure SharePoint died an early death at Virgin America. Scarab for artifact management. We use Apache with mod proxy balancer. I don't know if you guys have used that before. It works really well for us. We use that. It's a pretty large proxy cluster in multiple parts of the country that allow access to for our vendors and our web services. And then we use Dan's Guardian Squid, so our frontline staff cannot watch porn instead of serving a guest at the airports. We use HA proxy for load balancing and failover in certain cases. It works beautifully. Capistrano for release management, and MySQL with DRBD. Future state. Edge and security network. You guys must have heard of Vayata. Have you guys heard of Vayata? Again, based on the Linux platform, really good network devices. Again, we want to encourage the smaller vendors, so we'll be talking to these guys in the next year or so to bring them in, because again, they are on these platforms. They're on the Linux platform, and they've been using open source and packaging it and selling it. Coming back to Stormy's presentation, the question that was asked about business models, I think they will have a very successful business model. HA and scalable databases, business intelligence analytics, very important for us as an airline. It is very important, but they've had 40 years to make money, and they still haven't made money, so I don't know what they're going to do. OpenFiler and JBOD implementations, and the next point is very important. We're exploring the LAMP architecture for our next in-flight entertainment system. We want to... So today there are maybe 3 companies worldwide that have the lion's share of the market with in-flight entertainment, right down from the servers to how the media is streamed out from the belly of the aircraft to the seat back to the actual display unit in the seat back. So what we want to do is we want to completely unravel that, and we want to make it extremely component based. So we have servers, media servers coming from some vendor who does this on a Linux platform. We take full charge of the display unit, and we run a browser-based interface, and browser-based, hopefully in HTML5 as soon as it gets ratified, because we surely do not want to put Flash out there on those little machines. Very, very important for us, and we know for a fact that there are 3 companies out there that they are going to be selling IFE systems on this platform. So you guys should be very proud. You would have never heard about it, but it's all your work. They're just putting it together, packaging together, and putting it out there. And of course, they're very smart. They'll never give you guys the credit, but here you go. And this is it. This is some functionality. You'll see everything is blacked out because we don't want to share anything with you, and the presentation is quite lousy. That's our plane. I love it. I was employee number 53. I'm a big fan of my company. We have a long way to go. That's what our cabin looks like, really. The in-flight entertainment, the red platform, that's the one that runs on Knoppix. The next generation will run on a LAMP stack. and we're very confident we're going to make it work. It's going to be amazing. And hopefully it'll also be wireless N throughout the aircraft, so you don't have to hardwire. Each aircraft today is about 3,800 pounds of cabling that gets added to the weight of the aircraft, so fuel costs, etc. First class, really nice, but I'm not a big fan of white leather seats. Those are our kiosks. Typically, so our kiosks work off of JBoss web services in the back end that we've built in-house. Again, entirely open source in the back end. Front end, because it has to look nice, we had to use Flash. Sorry. And come fly with us. That's it. I'm available for questions if you have any.
Well, I think you've presented a great case study of the use of free software for all kinds of mission critical uses, and I think everybody in the room is really glad that you are using what we have done in this way. This is great. It's a lot of fun. My question is, in the process of doing this, you must have found things that could be fixed or improved or so on. And you haven't talked about your company's policy with regard to contributing stuff back upstream and becoming part of the full ecosystem of creating this software. So is that something you can address at all?
Absolutely. That's a great question. Giving back to the community there are many facets to that, right? One is, so we've had a very small team. So giving back to the community is very important. Today, our teams are so small that for us to manage what we do here and contribute back in, for example, in re-injecting code back into the code bases, it's pretty difficult. But what we want to do is we at least want to start off by becoming real big spokespersons for open source, so we can go and sell the idea to other companies. So that's one way to contribute back. As we grow larger, we are planning to have a kind of a core team that does just this, what you have suggested. That as we implement new software, open source software, and as we bring these things together in our world, and as we find not just problems, but as we find new ideas and new ways of doing things, more efficiencies, we plan to contribute back. And that will happen in the next year or so. We're still in very core startup stages, so it's very difficult for us to focus outside that. I hope that kind of answers your question.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just a quick question about your software. I know that the FAA has very strict regulations for software inside the plane. Mm-hmm. Is your software subject to the same kind of scrutiny and regulation?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So, again, this stuff works. For example, a simple example is when a public address announcement is made. Your software must be able to kind of block out all other audio and video input to the seat backs and to the headphone jacks, for example. And that's a regulatory compliance issue. So if someone is, the cabin attendant is calling to basically say the toilets are blocked, well, you need to know, right? So your movie will be paused, everything will be paused, and that's a regulatory compliance, and our software handles that. Going forward in the future, just to add on to that, our plans with the LAMP stack is if you've been watching a movie and your flights come to an end and you're taking a round trip back the next day or the same day, we'll be able to allow you to start your movie from where you left off. So full-blown DVR functionality on the seat back. Oh, and we won't charge you again. But this is just the IT guys saying it. The marketing guys will have different ideas. So,
typically, when people make presentations about their decisions to switch to open source software for their company, they spend a lot of time talking about the security and performance improvements, and they skip over free. They make it a point to say that we didn't choose it because it was free. But it doesn't change the fact that a lot of this software is free and that the IT budget of these corporations must be astronomical to begin with. What is switching to open source and what seems like every single part of your plane done for the bottom line of your IT budget for your company?
It's done pretty well. I must say a few $1,000,000 a year for sure. Just forget about anything, just our website. If you look at any other airline that invests heavily in their website technologies, they will go out and acquire commercial technologies from a software stack perspective. And the licenses now, now you have CPU-based license, now you have virtualization, so you just can't get away from paying for it, right? So I would say it's millions and millions of dollars. So for us, we needed a study. It's about $4 to $4.5 million a year that we are saving by using open source. So it is free, but that free, the cost of that for us is actually a positive cost. We get much better performance, we get much better reliability, much better stability. And so the question is, why wouldn't we do something like that?
All right, Ravi, thank you very much.
Thank you all.
Great talk. Thanks so much.